anthropology, we have seen the various sub branches or subdivisions of anthropology, and also the different branches in philosophy that are instrumental for the understanding of what is called a human person. So, with this count, let us move into the third unit, which is on interpersonal relationship. It is on interpersonal relationship. But before going into the third unit, let me tell you that the study material is available. Okay, maybe your IGNO coordinator might have given you the study material. Take out the printout and then go through the pages. Okay, I have already discussed first two units. Just you go through once, and I think a number of things will be automatically clear because you have attended the class. Now, so looking into the third unit, where we are concerned about the interpersonal relationship and how it helps to define a human person. So that is the objective here, main objective. So that's how this unit speaks of, okay, though interpersonal relationship is the focus, but the framers of this course try to see this under three objectives, where they say that exploring the philosophical foundation of what is called interpersonal relationship is very important. Explore what is the philosophical foundation of interpersonal relationship. Number one, first objective. The second objective, they say the uniqueness. Find out what is unique to person-person relationship. You see, the relation between one and the other may be varying, may be changing. So, what is unique to a person-to-person relationship? Then, the third objective that is taken is the philosophical formulation for a healthy interpersonal relationship. So, first of all, what is the philosophical foundation of interpersonal relationship? Second is the uniqueness in person to person interpersonal personal person to person relationship, and the third one is the philosophical foundation for a healthy interpersonal relationship. With these objectives, we take three philosophers, namely Martin Buber, or Buber, what you say, Martin Buber. Second is Gabriel Marcel, whom we have already discussed in the earlier classes. And the third one is Immanuel Kant. Three philosophers we are taking into account. I repeat, number one, Martin Buber. Number two, Gabriel Marcel. Number three, Immanuel Kant, or simply Kant. Okay, so what is the idea that is contained in Martin Buber? The very idea or the focus in Martin Buber is the I thou relationship. I, thou, thou. Thou means you, I you relationship, the other. Thou is the other. So I thou relationship. So how does it take this relationship? Okay. Now he says I thou relationship. Okay. It says it defines. Okay. This relationship, I thou relationship, defines the reality. It defines the reality, the fundamental reality to which we are all connected to. So, in order to understand reality, so an understanding of the IU relationship or the interpersonal relationship is very important. Okay, so interpersonal relationship, or the understanding of the interpersonal relationship is very important for understanding the very structure of reality in which we are all in. Okay, number one. Now he says, when we talk of interpersonal relationship, human existence comes first. Human existence. And it says human existence lies in human existence lies in how we deal with others. Our existence makes sense. Okay, the way we deal with others, the way we behave with others. Number one. This is concerning Martin Buber's I the relationship. Okay, so it is concerning Martin Buber's I the relationship. So what is important for human existence? Three points that he makes. Number one is how we deal with others. Okay, number one. Number two, how we deal with the world, how we deal with the world around. Number three, how we take into account the very idea of God. So, human existence lies in or makes sense in three different ways. Number one, how we deal with others. Number one. Number two is how we deal with the world. Number three, how we take God. Okay, so they are the three things. Now, in dealing these three things, Martin Buber talks of two sorts of attitudes. He talks of two sorts of attitudes. Number one, the first attitude is what is called as I the relationship, and the second attitude is called as I it relationship. So two attitudes come to the fourfold. First attitude is I the relationship, I you relationship. Okay. The second is I it. So when I say I the relationship, here I the relationship is a subject to subject relationship. It is a subject to subject relationship. So both I and thou, both are subjects, the persons. When I say subjects, they are persons. I is a person and thou is also a person. So I the relation is a subject to subject relationship or subject subject relationship. But when you talk of I it relationship, it is a subject object relationship. When I talk of I it relationship, it relationship, here it denotes a sub object, not a subject. So I it relationship is a relationship between subject and object. Okay, now how I thou and I it are related and how to understand them. You see, when you talk of I relationship, there is a sort of unity of being, what is called as unity of being. Unity of being means a connectedness. A connectedness. When I say I the relationship, there is a feeling of interconnectivity. There is a connectivity, there is mutuality, there is a reciprocity, there is a give take, or say there is an act of giving something to the other. And similarly, act of giving, okay, also comes from the other side. So in subject-subject relationship, what you find is there is a unity of being. The subject and subject, they feel united. They are not separated. They are united. Okay. And there is no specific or limited um, or some isolated quality to account for. Everything becomes intermingled. The subject on one side, the I, and the subject in the side of thou, they get intermingled. Okay. They come together. Okay, they come together and there is a realization of unity of being. Okay, there is a connectedness, there is a whole involvement of one in the other and the other in this one. So I gets involved in thou and thou gets involved in I. There is a total connectivity. Are you getting my point? Very important, this one. Are you getting my point? Yes. Are you getting me? Somebody please just respond so that I can, it would be
Yes, sir.
helpful. Okay, done. So two sorts of attitudes, I repeat. One is I thou attitude or I thou relationship attitude, and another is I it relationship. In I thou relationship is a relationship between subject to subject relationship. I it relationship is a subject to object relationship. In subject to subject relationship, there is a unity of being. The unity of being means there is interconnectivity. There is a inter give and take. Okay, okay, there is a connectivity, there is no separatedness, there is reciprocity. Okay, getting my point? There is reciprocity, there is an act of giving totally. surrendering to the other, and the other surrendering or totally giving to the I. So that's what happens in subject-subject relationship or I-thou relationship. But in I-it relationship is not that sort of relationship. In I-it relationship, there is a subject to object relationship. The subject is connected to the object. Okay. Subject is connected to the object, and that relationship has a disconnected. The way subject and subject, they are connected, they are mingled together. Such sort of connectivity is missing. It is not there in I-it sort of relationship. So this much, are you clear? Okay. So in I-it relationship, there is disconnect. There is no connectivity. There is disconnection. Okay. There is separatedness because the subject is interacting is with the object that is outside, and there is no unity of being. Okay. Now, when I talk of a subject, you see, subject is a subject. It cannot be an object. Subject is a subject. A person is a person. He cannot be an object. But Huber says there is a possibility. You see, subject is a subject and object is an object. There is a subject-subject relationship. There is also subject-object relationship. And he again says subject is always a subject, mostly, or say generally. Generally, subject is a subject. But Huber says there is a possibility that a subject can also be taken as an object because the subject is so irresponsive. If the subject becomes so irresponsive, he may be taken as an object. Once the subject is taken as an object, there is no more a chance that subject, now gone to be an object, come back to the subject again. Okay, so it becomes an it. So I make it this point clear, very clear. Let me tell you, otherwise you will not understand. Subject is a subject. It is not an object. But Buber says that there is a possibility that a subject can become an object. A subject can become an object if the subject is so irresponsive, if the subject is so callous, if the subject is totally disconnected, if the subject has no realization, if the subject has no minimum thing, then it may turn into an object. Okay. Similarly, he says an object which we take as it in I-it relationship, it is an object. He says it can become a subject. It also can become a subject if that object is taken by the subject with a unity of being. If that thing is taken with all connectivity, if that it is taken with all connectivity, if the subject can establish a unity with that object, then that object can also qualify, may also, I should not say can, may also qualify to be a subject because there is a total connectivity of the subject with that object. Okay, so there lies a chance for a subject getting into an object and an object elevating to a subject. Okay. Now, then I have already said you in either relationship, there is a total involvement from either side, from the I side and also from the side of the. In both sides, there is a total involvement, a total mingling. And in I-thou relationship, there is no mediator. In I-thou relationship, there is no mediator, no mediation in between. To establish this I-thou relationship, there is no mediator. Suppose you see, I'm trying to establish a relationship with you through this internet or through this mobile or through this device. So there is a mediation here. But in I-thou relationship, there is no mediation. It's totally direct. Okay, it is totally direct. Okay, mediator is missing. Okay, so that's why I-thou relationship is said to be a dyadic relation. It's a dyadic relation. But I-it relationship is called as triadic relationship because there is a mediator. In I-it relationship, some mediation occurs somehow or the other. But in I-thou relationship, there is no mediation. It is direct. Okay. There is no idea or no thought, nothing comes in between I and thou. Why it happens? Because love becomes a connecting thread. Love becomes a connecting thread between I and thou. And love so intermingles in I and thou. Huh. I so much intermingles in I and thou that I and thou nearly becomes identified. I said you, love is the thread, the binding thread between I and thou. It gets intermingled so much that there is a unity. There is a unity of being. Whatever feeling I may have, the same feeling thou will carry. The feeling, the emotion thou experiences, that will be communicated to I. So in I thou relationship, there is a unity of being. And how this unity is created? Unity is created by love. It is by love. Okay. And in this relationship of I thou, where there is love, there is caring, there is sharing, there is responsibility, one for the other. There is care for the other, there is share for the other, there is a responsibility for the other on either sides. Okay. Now, okay. So what becomes here? So in either relationship, the other is a loving subject. The other becomes a loving subject. Since love is the binding thread, the other is a loving subject. Okay. And in that relationship, what we experience? We experience a sort of care, we experience sharing, and we experience a sort of interrelationship between one another. Okay. Now, in either relationship, as I said you, there is a total intermingling. There is a total intermingling. That's why in either relationship, this capital I can belong to I in either relationship, I belongs to I and also can belong to thou. In either relationship, I belongs to I and also I belongs to thou. And so also thou belongs to thou and thou belongs to I. Okay, so that is the relationship. That is the beauty in either relationship. Okay, that is the beauty in either relationship. And one more thing that is more important, you see, in this relationship, more the I shares, the more I shares, okay, with the, okay, the more I comes out to share, to care, thou, okay, more complete, more complete, more exhaustive this I thou relation becomes. The more I and thou share, care, be responsible to one another, the more complete the relationship. That means the more complete the I thou relationship becomes. Okay. Now, I said I thou relationship. Thou is the other, and love is the binding factor that puts I in I and also I in thou. That also puts thou in I. So this is how we have seen. Now, if the thou is taken as the eternal thou in either relationship, thou means you. In either relationship, if that thou is taken as God or eternal thou means, remember, eternal thou means God. If I take thou as eternal thou or God, okay, now we are making this I thou relationship as I God relationship. I thou is here now God. If you take from human person, we are taking thou as God now. Okay, and God is taken as eternal thou or eternal you, eternal thou. Okay, when you take God as an eternal thou, so what happens? You see, unlike the thou being a human person, we may put the other to some test. We may verify the other because he is again a human person, like a person, me, like me or I. Okay. But in case of eternal thou, because eternal thou is God, it is absolute, we cannot subject the eternal thou to any investigation or any test. Eternal thou, okay, in I thou relationship, if you take thou as God, then that eternal thou or God is not subject to any test or verification. He has to be accepted. And because why? Because he is the absolute being. Because eternal thou is the absolute being. And and he is the cause of unity of all being. And it is because of the absolute thou there is unity of being. There is unity in the world. There is unity in being. Okay, getting my point. So then it says, um, yes, one more thing. What we slightly left is we focus more on I thou relationship, and somehow we left I it relationship. So I it relationship is also important. I said you just now that it in I relationship can also become thou if I responds to thou with the sense of unity of being. If that it is taken with a sense of unity as a part of the cosmos, with all connectivity, with all interrelatedness, with all reciprocity, then it, the object, can also be, may also be taken as the subject. Okay. Normally, normally, it implies the objective world. Okay. Now, in I it relationship, you see, in I the relationship, I have said you just now, I can stay in I and also I can stay in thou because there is an intermingling between I and thou. But that doesn't happen in I it relationship. Why? Because there is disconnectedness. There is disconnectedness. There is separateness. So I remains only in I and I cannot remain in it. I in I it relationship, I can remain only in I. The subject can remain only as a subject. It cannot stay. It cannot get connected with the object. The way interpersonal relationship occurs in I thou, it doesn't happen in I it relationship. But if it is taken as a unity of being, if it is taken as an unity of being, then maybe that object, if it takes somehow takes the position as a subject, then you can find a connectivity of I in it. Otherwise, I finds a connectivity only with I, or I can be placed only in I. I cannot be placed in it because it means the object. So once more I say you. So in Martin Buber, we come across two sorts of attitudes. One is an attitude of I thou relationship, and another is an attitude of I it relationship. I thou relationship is a relationship between subject to subject, which has connectivity, which has interconnectedness, which has mutuality, okay, and which has reciprocity. But when you talk of I it relationship, it is a subject object relationship which is disconnected, okay, which is a disconnected relationship. Okay. Now in I thou relationship, I can stand in either relationship. There is a total mingling of I and thou, and I can stand in I, and I can also stand in relation to thou. So I can be in I and I can be in thou. But that doesn't happen in I it relationship. In I it relationship, that is just relationship of disconnectedness, where there is a relationship between subject and object. I can stay only in I cannot stand in relation to, I cannot be in it. So that is the point that Martin Buber tries to make. But one more thing that he points, if thou is taken as God, if thou is taken as God, then that God or eternal thou, we cannot put him to test. He is the absolute being, and he is the source of all sort of interpersonal relationship. He is the source of, or he is the basis of all interpersonal relationship, and he is the source of, or he is the basis of upholding the unity of being. Okay, so the eternal, the eternal thou or God, I mean to say, is the foundation of all relationship. Is the foundation of all relationship. Okay, whatever interpersonal relationship that we talk of, eternal thou or God is the basis of all sorts of relationships. Okay, now Martin Buber finally comes to a point where he says, if I, the subject, has a relationship with the eternal thou or God, then such such a I has a real relation with the world. Okay, such a such an I has a real relation with the world, and he will carry on actions that are quite good and appropriate. So last point, let me repeat again. In I thou relationship, I is the subject. If thou is taken as the eternal thou or God, in that I and eternal thou relationship, if somebody is there in such a relationship, there the subject will have a real relation with the world. He will have a real relation with the other, anybody, any person or any being. And number two, his actions will be guided by some force, some divine force, where his actions would be mostly right. Okay, so this is how Martin Buber tries to see either relationship. Now, a similar thing, a similar pattern of either relationship has been taken by another philosopher who is named Gabriel Marcel. Gabriel Marcel. Now, what Gabriel? Did you get my point or not? Somebody please tell me, because this section is a bit technical, and I have tried. I'm trying to say this with you as simple as possible. Are you able to understand me? Somebody please respond. Somebody please respond. Yes
Yes,
or no?
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Saguli.
Okay. Okay. Done. So thank you. So that is concerning I thou relationship with respect to Buber or Martin Buber. Now we come to another philosopher. We have three philosophers to take: Martin Buber, Gabriel Marcel, and Immanuel Kant. We have seen Martin Buber. Now we'll look into Gabriel Marcel. His account of what is called as authentic relationship. So you see that the paper, this unit is concerning interrelationship, and here Gabriel Marcel has to say something about authentic relationship. Okay, he has got something to say about what is called as authentic relationship. Try to understand. Try to okay, get my point. What I am saying, because once you get it, once you are clear with it, you can write of your own. Otherwise, if you go through the literature, maybe you will feel a bit difficult. Gabriel Marcel on authentic relationship. To start with, excuse me. To start with, those who have done the undergraduate course in philosophy might be knowing about the Cartesian dualism, the mind-body distinction. Okay, and also the dictum "I think, therefore I am." Descartes. He says, "I think, therefore I exist." That was the dictum that Descartes has given to the world. He tries to prove existence through the very act of thinking. I am thinking, therefore I exist. I think, therefore I exist. That was the equation that he gave to prove existence. Okay. I think, therefore I exist. An indubitable truth that he wanted to establish, and he tried to establish this. The existence of self or being through the act of thinking. But Gabriel Marcel denies this logic because he says existence doesn't mean I think, or existence doesn't mean that I am alive. Try to understand this. Existence does not mean that I think, or from I think, you cannot say I exist. From existence, from I think, you cannot say I exist. Okay. Or existence doesn't follow from I am alive. Okay. Existence is not I think or I am alive. Are you getting my point? I am thinking, therefore I exist. Okay. Or you say, I am alive, therefore I exist. So these two things Gabriel Marcel denies for existence. He says, then what is existence? He says, existence means experience. Existence means experience. I experience, therefore I exist. I don't experience, then I don't exist. Like the way Descartes said, I think, therefore I exist. Huh. Yeah. I think, therefore I exist, Descartes. And Gabriel Marcel also denied the other point that I am alive, therefore I exist. That also he said, no, that is not the point. He said, existence means experience. I experience, therefore I exist. So what is this experience? Experience means a direct participation in the world through the body. Through what terminology that he uses for body is incarnation. Incarnation is the word that he uses here. Body. A bit technical here. I am again trying to simplify thing here. Marcel says existence means experience. I experience, therefore I exist. I experience, therefore I exist. And what is this experience? Experience means the direct participation in the world through incarnation, through my body. Okay, so what is experience for me now? Experience means for me now is my participation in this online class. So experience means my I am, and that defines my existence. Okay, it is Gabriel Marcel says existence is nothing but experience. What is this experience? Experience means participation. So my existence, say for example, my existence is my participation in the online class now through my body. And this body is taken by Marcel as incarnation. Okay, body, he says incarnation. So what is this incarnation? Incarnation, he says, incarnation means it is something again mysterious. Incarnation, it's a mysterious act. Marcel again says, incarnation is a mysterious act in which the human essence enters the body. It is a mystery. You see, again, essence is talking about the way people in the Indian context speak of the soul in the body. Okay, embodiment of the soul, or to speak of the soul. Here, Gabriel Marcel, without making a reference to the soul, he speaks of incarnation as a mysterious act. Mysterious means lot of unknown things are attached to it. Incarnation as a mysterious act in which the essence assumes a body. Essence in which the essence assumes the body. Did you get my point or not? Anybody? Are you getting my point? Somebody please
Yes,
respond.
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Yes,
so
sir.
okay, done. Very good. So here existence means experience. For Marcel, existence means experience. Existence is not thinking. Existence is not being alive. So suppose I'm alive. I'm suppose somebody is sleeping. He is alive, but he is not existing because there is no participation in the very act. There is no participation. Somebody is alive. Okay, he's sleeping. So there is he's alive, no doubt. But Marcel says that would not amount to or account to existence. Existence means having a sort of experience. And what is this experience? Experience is participation with your body. Okay, the way I am participating, the way you are participating, and that defines your existence and also my existence. Okay, so here he says existence through incarnation. What is this incarnation? Incarnation means the body having a essence. So incarnation, he says, it's a mysterious act wherein essence assumes a body, wherein the essence assumes a body. Okay, so here, here, the essence and the body, they go hand in hand. They are not disconnected. In you see, in Descartes, those who have done UC in philosophy, they might have seen mind-body relationship. They Descartes, what he does, he defines mind in one way and he says body is another way. So he makes a barricade, he makes a distinction between mind and body. Mind has these qualities, body has these qualities. So mind and body are distinct, they are different. Okay, is it not? But here, Gabriel Marcel doesn't make this distinction. He says both the essence and the body, they go hand in hand. The body and the essence, they go hand in hand. So in incarnation, what you find in essence assuming a body, in essence assuming a body. So the essence and the body, they go hand in hand. It is not like mind body distinction that we make. Okay, in Descartes we find a mind body distinction. Such sort of distinction doesn't occur here in Gabriel Marcel, because the essence and the body, they go hand in hand. There is no distinction or there is no gap between myself. There is no distinction or any gap between myself and my body. Myself and my body, they go hand in hand. There is no distinction. There is no space. There is no gap at all. So this is the position that Gabriel Marcel talks of, and in an authentic relationship. So this is all about Gabriel Marcel's authentic relationship. What is this relationship? Where there is hmm, one more thing, where there is the relationship is authentic, because the essence and the body, they go hand in hand. That sort of relationship, they coexist. Okay, essence and the body, they coexist, go hand in hand, and that is the authentic relationship. So suppose he's saying there is a total parity, there is a total coherence between the essence and the body. So there is no distinction to make between the essence and the body, because the essence itself has assumed a body. The essence itself has assumed the body. So unlike Descartes, who makes a distinction between body and mind, here he says myself. When I say myself, I am saying that myself is my body. So when I say the essence and my body are one and the same, the essence, my essence and my body are one and the same. So there is a total coexistence. So that is the authentic relationship that Marcel is talking of. Okay, and then he says that we are incarnate beings. We are incarnate beings. Every individual is an incarnate being. Because we are incarnate beings, he says we have existence. Because he says existence means experience. Experience means nothing but participation, okay, in the world. through what I said, that one, incarnation. Participation in the world through incarnation. What is incarnation? Incarnation is nothing but the essence taking a bodily form. And the essence and the bodily form, they move hand in hand, and that is an authentic relationship within myself. Okay, now this awareness, there is an awareness that I, myself, and my body are one and the same. The essence and the body, they are one and the same. And because of my incarnation, okay, I encounter with the other. There are other people also. There are other human persons also in the society. So I interact with them. Okay, and enter into a relationship, a loving relationship. Because now what I am as a human person, I am the essence. What I am, I'm an essence. Okay, so in that essence, but taking a bodily form. So there are other persons in the out there in the world. They are also essences having an embodiment, having a incarnation. Now every such subject enters into a relationship with the other. And again, here also, like Martin Buber, here too, Gabriel Marcel also says that each such subject, each such incarnate subject, each such incarnate subject enters into a loving relationship with the other. Every such subject enters into a loving relationship with the other, and that defines the authentic relationship. So, two steps. Authentic relationship, there is an authentic relationship between myself and my body. When I say myself, means my essence and my body. They are coexisting. That is an authentic relationship at the first place. Having this awareness that my essence and my body are one and the same, they coexist, they move on together, they go hand in hand. They cannot be separated. Now there is an awareness of my incarnation, okay, as an essence, having a bodily form. I come across other subjects also. I come across other subjects who are also essences having a bodily form. Now the relationship is established. Now we being essences, the subjects being essences, the relationship that is established is the relationship of love. So love becomes the binding thread between the subjects. So this is what um, um, Martin Buber says about the authentic relationship. Okay, then okay. Now he says one more important, very beautiful point that I have just now that you are a human subject, that you are a human person. Okay, you are an essence, you are an incarnate. Okay, incarnation. Okay, now I can exist a subject, as a human person in one or two ways. What are they? I exist in a loving and authentic relationship with the other, or I exist in a mediate relationship with the other. So you see two sorts of existence. One is an authentic relationship wherein one subject comes or enters into a loving relationship with the other. Okay, and there is no mediation in between, and love is the binding thread between I and thou. Okay, one and this subject and the other subject, love is the binding thread, and that is the authentic relationship which I have said you. And this authentic relationship is stated by Gabriel Marcel as authentic intersubjective dyadic relationship. What he says, authentic intersubjective dyadic relationship. Dyadic means two persons are involved, I and thou, I and you. So it's a dyadic relationship. This authentic relationship between I and you is a dyadic relationship. Why he says it's an authentic relationship? Because here the binding thread is the element of love. Because the binding thread is love. It is love that has brought one subject in total terms in complete terms with the other. There is nearly a merger of one with the other. So this is authentic relationship. This is what is called as authentic relationship. And Gabriel Marcel says this authentic relationship as authoritative, or say authentic intersubjective dyadic relation. Authentic intersubjective dyadic. Dyadic means two. Okay. So here the relationship is authentic and there is no mediator in between. Okay. Now there is another relationship that is inauthentic. One is authentic relationship. I and thou, they merge. And when there is no mediation, then when there is a merger, when there is love that is putting them together, that is a dyadic relationship, and that is authentic relationship. But when the relation turns to be triadic, the relation turns to be triadic, when one subject search for some mediation, okay, to establish connection with the other, the relation turns to be triadic because there is a mediator. Now you see our relationship. I am sitting this end and you are sitting at some other place, different places maybe. Okay. Now there is a mediator in between, the mobile connectivity or the network that is connecting me virtually with you. So there is a mediator in between. So the relationship is not dyadic, the relation is triadic, and this is not an authentic relationship. This relationship is not authentic. That's why people have also said this online mode as virtual mode. This is not the real mode. This is the virtual mode. So this is again, we can corroborate things with this example. The mobile phone, the internet connectivity, okay, the online program is a triadic relationship. Though I want to come up with a dyadic relationship, but there is a barrier in between. The network, the mobile phone. So this relationship turns to be a triadic relationship. And this triadic relationship, Martin Buber says, is not an authentic relationship. That's why people have also said this online mode as a virtual mode. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Okay. So where there is mediation, where there is a third party involvement, then the relationship is not authentic. Okay. Now, a bit extension to Marcel's authentic relationship, we have another concept with relation to um, Martin Buber. But prior to that, there is a question that has been asked to you. You see, according to Buber, is subject to object relationship possible in love? You see, I said you love is a binding thread between I thou relationship. Love can be a binding relationship in I thou relationship. In I it relationship, love cannot be a binding thread because there is separatedness, there is disjunction, there is disconnectedness. Okay, so that question, love cannot be a binding thread in I it relationship. It can be a binding thread, okay, in I thou relationship. Okay, in Martin Buber, a bit because I saw this question here, that's why I'm saying this. Now I thou relationship in Martin Buber. Now he says, as I've already said, thou is the other, and I tries to enter into a loving relationship, a sort of authentic relationship that I was talking to, a dyadic relationship where there is no mediator, where the two subjects intermingle, they come together, they fall together, they become so interconnected that it becomes difficult to separate them, and love becomes the binding thread. So that is an authentic relationship connected through love. That is what Marcel's I thou relationship talks of. That just now I was discussing Marcel's I thou relationship. Now, the point that is important here to note with respect to Gabriel Marcel, not with Buber. Buber, we had I thou relationship and I it relationship. Okay. Under I thou, we brought in God as eternal thou in Martin Buber. But a bit change can be noticed in Marcel's account of I thou relationship. Here, he says, I-thou relationship can be seen in two planes. I-thou relationship can be seen in two planes. One is horizontal plane, horizontal. One is horizontal plane, and another is vertical plane. One is horizontal plane, another is vertical plane. Horizontal plane means here I-thou relationship is seen between one finite subject and another finite subject. Between subject and subject, both are finite. We are finite beings, isn't it? We are finite beings. One finite I in the horizontal plane, I-thou relationship is seen in subject to subject. Both are finite in the same plane, horizontal, the same plane, finite to finite relationship. In I sorry, in the vertical plane, I-thou relationship means it is the relationship between the finite and the infinite. The finite is the subject I, and the infinite is God. And the infinite is the absolute thou or God. So in Martin, so in Gabriel Marcel, we have two planes to express the I-thou relationship. One is the horizontal plane, wherein we see the relationship between subject and subject, and the other is the vertical plane, where the relationship is between finite and infinite. Finite is human being, and the infinite is God. Okay, so I said you in the I-thou relationship, there is a merger, there is a unity. Okay, there is openness. When there is a merger, means there is openness and there is self-giving. I totally surrenders to thou, and thou also totally surrenders to I. And it's only then there is a merger. There is okay. And on what counts there is a genuine surrender or there is a genuine self-giving? It may be on the count of on the ground of love, maybe on the ground of friendship, or maybe on the ground of spiritual availability for each other. Okay, so try to see a bit difference here in Gabriel Marcel, wherein he brings in either relationship in two planes, subject to subject in the finite plane and subject to infinite in the vertical plane. So, but anyway, like in Martin Buber, we also have certain points in common in Gabriel Marcel too. Okay, now I was talking about empathy. In the first class, I was talking about empathy. What is this empathy? Empathy means a total connectedness. If somebody is in pain and you feel the pain. If somebody is in poverty, you personally feel you are in poverty. So total connectedness. So you become one with the other. So sort of empathy runs in either relationship. Why? Because what affects the other also affects me. What affects me also affects the other. And here, when I take love as the binding thread, here the love is unconditional. Here the love is unconditional. What is this unconditional? Unconditional means, suppose somebody loves somebody else because of certain characters, X, Y, Z, say. Now that love is not unconditional because Y has got certain qualities A, B, C. That's why X is loving Y. That becomes a condition. In unconditional love, what happens? Irrespective of what qualities Y has, X loves Y. So that is unconditional love. You don't see whether Y has qualities A, B, or C or not. Irrespective of the qualities Y has, X is in love, X is in friendship with Y. That is unconditional love. Okay. That means there is a spiritual availability of one for the other. There is a total availability of one for the other. There is no condition that you are seeing. Okay. There also, there is a dialogue. There is no dialogue, I say. In either relationship, in pure either relationship, there is no dialogue in the form of, say, question and answer. Rather, there is a response. Certain things comes from I and why, and the thou simply responds. But in question and answer pattern, what happens? There is a tussle. If you question, there is an answer, and a question, there is an answer. So there is a tussle. So I thou dialogue is a sort of address response type of relationship. There is just response. There is no tussle. Okay, there is no tussle. Okay, both are involved, but there is no tussle. There is a parity. There is just a response. Okay, and here I said in the vertical plane, in the vertical plane, the relationship is seen between I and thou. There in the vertical plane, the thou means God. Okay, you see, when you see this I thou relationship in terms of I God relationship, okay, God also unconditionally loves I. Like the way we unconditionally love God in how the relationship, Gabriel Marcel says, God also unconditionally loves I. And this makes sense. It is only then I the relation in the vertical plane can sustain. And the love of God to I, irrespective of who that I is, I may be myself, I may be you, I may be X, I may be Y, I may be Z. So God has unconditional love for each and every I, and that contributes to what is called as global wholeness. That contributes to global wholeness. And we also, as subjects, as I, we also have a belief, we also have sort of total surrender, total love for even that unseen thou, because we take that unseen thou as God, who is absolute, who is the source of all sorts of relationship, who is the source of everything. Okay, okay, fine. Now, few more things concerning I thou. They are in I thou relationship, since there is openness, there is total mingling, there is no ego. There is no ego. That is more important. There is no ego. And again, there is a positive contribution of one for the other. In either relationship, there is a positive contribution of one for the other, in which both share the other. Whatever positive contribution that you see, suppose somebody is doing a work and somebody else also joins the work, and the work gets completed very easily. So, who are the beneficiaries? Both of them. So also here, when there is an intermingling between I and thou, where there is a care, where there is share, where there is total sharing of each other, the benefit, okay, it goes to them. Okay, but if we take Jean-Paul Sartre idea of negative intersubjectivity, here the question framers have tried to bring in Jean-Paul Sartre, who talks of negative intersubjectivity. What is this negative intersubjectivity in Jean-Paul Sartre? Jean-Paul Sartre talks of negative intersubjectivity. He says the presence of the other disturbs your own personality. You see, a total reversal, a total negative thought in comparison to Gabriel Marcel's thought. What Gabriel Marcel says, we are expanding for the other, we are mingling with the other, we have become one with the other. There is no ego for the other, there is no ego in any of the partners, there is mutual openness, there is mutual communion, there is mutual sharing, caring, loving, everything. So the presence of the other, the participation of the other is benefiting them, each of them. But Jean-Paul Sartre is saying the presence of the other disturbs one's own personality. So that is a sort of egoistic personality which Gabriel Marcel totally denies. That is a negative personality. That is a negative sort of interpretation that Gabriel Marcel denies, goes away, or proves, try to say that Jean-Paul Sartre is wrong in that way, because a person's presence and participation cannot disturb one's own personality. Rather, it contributes. But the only thing is, are you coming up with a sense of love? That is the question that Gabriel Marcel comes up with. Okay. Okay. So I said you, I thou relationship is dyadic. There is no mediation. Even when you talk of I thou relationship, if you take thou as God, there also there is no mediation. When you pray, you see, you pray to God, you pray to Him directly. There is no mediator required. You pray to God. When you pray, you open up. You directly speak your heart. You speak your mind. You speak, you open your heart and speak your mind to directly to God. There is a direct communion. Okay. But then again, Gabriel Marcel says, in spite of the fact that the I totally opens up, extends, and totally surrenders in love for that ultimate and absolute God. Okay, if God does not show any interest for this I, okay, I try to understand my point. In this I thou relationship, I said you, God unconditionally loves us, everything that I have said you. But he comes to a point where he says, in I thou relationship, if thou is taken as eternal thou or God or absolute being or God, in I God relationship, the I has an open mind. He totally surrenders in love before God. He has a total belief in Him. But God is not influenced, or God shows no interest. God shows no interest towards this I. Then in that I thou relationship, God will become an unknown reality or a metaphysical reality. The relation doesn't become an authentic relationship because God has no interest towards I. Normally, it is spoken, either party show interest for the other, and it becomes dyadic relationship. It is a relationship of unity of being. But if God shows no interest towards this I, then God for this I becomes just an unknown something or a metaphysical reality. And here, I thou relationship turns to be inauthentic. It turns to be inauthentic. Okay. So, in I thou relationship, both have to open up, both have to come together. But suppose say somebody is externally, there is an external appearance, as if there is a mingling, there is a coming together. But if one of the parties is not responding the way the other does, then also the relationship turns inauthentic. If both the parties should coexist, should move coherently, their minds, their bodies, they should behave coherently, there should be parity. It is only then either relationship becomes authentic in the version of Gabriel Marcel. Now, one more thing Gabriel Marcel talks of is the idea of presence, the idea of participation, and the idea of availability in this either relationship itself. Okay, one is the idea of, he says, presence, participation, and availability. Okay, now he says in the vertical either relationship, in the vertical either relationship, vertical either relationship means I related to God, finite infinite relationship. Horizontal either relationship means finite finite relationship. Okay, Horizontal either relationship means finite subject relationship. I'm repeating. Vertical either relationship means finite, infinite relationship. Infinite means the God here. So if I thou relationship is established, or say I establishes a relationship with the eternal thou or the absolute thou or God, then there comes in all inclusiveness. Then there comes in all inclusiveness. What does this mean? Suppose take an I. That subject I has established a vertical relationship between with eternal thou or God or absolute thou. Now, such I will directly or indirectly will experience the connectivity of other finite subjects to himself in I thou relationship. Let me make it still clear. Suppose I, a subject I, establishes a relationship with eternal thou or God or the absolute thou or God. Such I will find out that all other finite thous in the world, they have directly or indirectly, they have got related to him, or everything gets related with him. And there comes a proposition which Gabriel Marcel comes up with, that I exist because I coexist with others. It is because I coexist with others, I exist. Earlier, we saw when we dealt with existence, we saw that existence is experience. Existence is experience, and that is participation. And here he's saying existence means coexistence with the fellow beings. Now, in Berkeley's philosophy, we talked of, we see esse est percipi. There is a concept called esse est percipi. Means an object exists if it is perceived. Esse est percipi means an object exists if I perceive it. If I don't perceive it, the object will not exist. So an object will exist for me if I perceive it. If I don't perceive it, the object will not exist for me. So this is the idea that George Berkeley has put forth. Now, modifying that idea, Gabriel Marcel says, he speaks of what is called esse est co-esse. Esse est co-esse. Co-esse means I exist. This means I exist only when I coexist with others. If there is no coexistence, then there is also no existence for my own self. Because Gabriel Marcel is saying that this subject, I, cannot be a subject, cannot be a meaningful subject in isolation. A subject is meaningful only in relation to other subjects. If there are no subjects, if I am the only subject, then there is no meaning attached to it. That also takes away my very existence. He says, I exist because I coexist with others. If there is no coexistence, I also have no existence. Tell me, what is my existence as a teacher if there are no students? Take, for example, a teacher. What is a teacher? Who is a teacher if there are no students? So, as a, so the very existence as a teacher is denied in the absence of students. So here also, Gabriel Marcel says a subject cannot exist alone. If you say the subject exists, then existence can be talked of that subject only when there is coexistence with other subjects. If there is no coexistence, then there is no personal existence. Take this example. Teacher has no existence without participation in the class having subjects, having students, having students. So teacher has no existence. And how his existence comes? Its existence comes only when there are students. So this is the idea that he is talking about. Okay. Now here he talks of three things. In how the I-thou relationship, he talks of three things. What I-thou relationship involves three things: presence, participation, and availability. Availability. Okay, availability. So I-thou relationship makes sense, or it involves three things. One is presence, second is participation, and third is availability. Presence means not just being present. Presence doesn't mean simply being present. No. Presence means a total self-giving to the other. What sense it makes? Suppose I'm here simply because it's a direct distant mode class, simply I'm sitting here, gossiping this and that. That doesn't define my presence as a teacher. So presence means he may be anywhere. You see, I'm not with you in the place where you are. There is no space-time. When you talk of presence, presence is not just being present. Presence means a total giving up as a teacher. Suppose my presence lies in giving up, a total giving up. Whatever I know, I say, whatever little or more, whatever I know, I'm just giving up. That defines the presence as a teacher. So here, Gabriel Marcel says that in either relationship, three things are essential, or it involves three things: presence, participation, and availability. What is this presence? I said you presence is not just mere present. As a teacher, if I simply being here, that doesn't count to presence. I have to give up as to what I have in store for you. So it is self-giving. Okay, it is self-giving. It is a mingling of two presences. So presence means it is self-giving and also mingling of two presences. What is that? Mingling means total coexistence with the other presences. As a teacher, I am present means I am mingling with my students. I'm coming closer to the students. I'm trying to move into the minds of my students. So it is a mingling of two presence, a co-presence. Are you getting my point or not? Please, somebody please respond. Let me take a breath and you
Yes,
please
sir.
respond. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So, yes, very good. So presence means not being simply present. Presence means a total giving up. A total giving up. Okay. And that also makes sense, a genuine sense, when there is somebody to take up also. And that, if that happens, there is a total mingling. As a teacher, I'm trying to give up. And as a student, you are trying to receive. The total mingling of a concept. It's the mingling of two presences, a co-presence. So that is what is called presence. So presence means, and see, presence involves, what is this presence? Presence is self-giving. It is a total mingling of two presences. Okay, a co-presence. And in the process, there is a participation of I and the. You see, as a teacher, I am present means I am trying to give whatever I have in the process of teaching learning process to what? To the students. So there is a mingling of two presences. I myself as a teacher and you yourself as students. There is a mingling of two presences. So that defines the presence. And participation. Participation means, you see, I have, what can be presence without participation? Participation means the experience. Participation means the experience as a teacher connected with the students. So participation is the connectedness, the interpretations that I make in this I-thou relationship. That is participation. And I am also available. Since I am participating, since you feel my presence, you see, since I am participating as an incarnate being, since I am participating as incarnate with some essence as with body, having a presence because I'm trying to give certain things to you in the process of teaching, learning. There is participation, there is presence that implies that I am available to the other. That implies that I am available to the other. So, in either relationship, three things: presence, participation, and spiritual availability are very important. Okay, so what is this participation? The participation means interpretation of beings in the interpersonal relationship. Okay, the participation means the experience, the connectedness, the interpretations, okay, between the subject to subject in the interpersonal relationship. Did you get my point? So participation is mutual connectedness. Okay, it is being present to the other. Okay, and is making spiritually and being available to the other. Okay, so three things are involved in the either relationship. So I hope you understand this. Okay, now let us move to the last philosopher, Immanuel Kant. We have 35 minutes left. We can hope to complete. Just a while. Okay. Now, Immanuel Kant is another philosopher whose account of a person is very important also. What does he say? The title where you have got is Persons as Ends in Themselves. Huh? Okay, done. So, Immanuel Kant says persons are ends in themselves. What do you mean by end? Here, to discuss end, let me bring in another idea, what is called as means. Means and ends. Two things, means and ends. Now, what is this means and what is this end? Suppose, suppose I want to establish truth. Truth is the end. I want to establish truth. Truth is the end. Okay. Now, what is the means? If I go with Gandhi, non-violence is the means to establish the truth. So non-violence is the weapon, it is the means to establish truth. So truth is the end, you see, truth is the end. If I go with Gandhi, non-violence is the means. The method of non-violence is the means. If I go with Karl Marx, he says violence. If you want to establish something, whatever may be, it may be violence, doesn't matter. The consequence, that is the establishing truth, is important. The means may be violent. So, so now I think you have understood a brief understanding of what do you mean by means and ends. Okay, suppose you want to go to Delhi. So suppose Delhi is the goal, the end. What is the means? The means maybe you may go by bus, you may go by train, you may go by aeroplane. Okay, you go by your personal car. So the means are different. So that is the idea of means and end. Okay. Now what? Now come to Kant. Now come to Kant. What Kant is saying? Kant is saying that never treat persons as means. Never treat any person as a means. Always treat person as an end. Don't treat any person as a means, because a person is an end in himself. A person is an end in himself. Never treat a person as a means. Okay. He says, why a person is a means? Oh, sorry. Why a person cannot be a means? Because means, suppose I take I use somebody. Means using somebody. Persons are not to be used because they are already ends in themselves. I will tell you what does it mean to say persons are ends in themselves. Okay. But a bit clarity is needed for you. What does it mean that persons should not be taken as means? Persons should not be taken as means persons should not be used. Persons should not be used to meet your own interests. Suppose I want to do something, suppose say, that is my end. Now I take somebody as a means. I use him. I use his hard work. I use his energy. I use his skill in getting my work done. In the process, what I am doing, I'm using that man as a means to my end. Are you getting my point? So never use a human being as a means. Means don't take human being as a means. Don't take a person as a means. Means don't use a person to meet your own selfish ends. Once your work is done, you throw him. You forget him. Okay. So that is the point that Kant wants to make. Are you able to understand me? Please, somebody respond so that I can go a bit next step. Anybody, please? The
Yes, sir.
distinction, okay, distinction between means and ends. So we have to treat human person as end and never as means. Okay, means using a person. Okay, okay. Having said this, let me tell you, in the social connectedness, in mutual relationship, we can take the help of somebody. The word that may be used is we can take the help of somebody for some work, but should not use him. We should be thankful to him. When I say we may take the help of somebody, we should be thankful to him, and we should see that in the process of his helping, his own freedom is not violated, his autonomy is not violated. Okay, we should see that no injustice is done to him. That is to be assured. So persons are to be treated always as the end and never as a means. If at all we require persons, we may take the help of persons for in the greater interest of the society without denying their autonomy, without denying their right, or without denying justice to them. We should be careful because persons are not means, persons are ends in themselves. Okay, persons, you can take the help of persons on certain conditions, and you should be thankful to the persons for being helpful. That is the way we have to treat human beings. Okay, now two things, two sorts of people we come across in the society: people who have a theistic bent of mind, that means who are God believers, and there are people who are atheistic, they don't believe in God. Two trends that we come across. Okay, one second. Two trends we come across. Today we have less number of participation. Maybe some, I don't know why. This unit is bit difficult for those who don't attend. I don't know why it's less. Are you one thing? Let me know from you. Are the things getting cleared for you, or things are getting difficult, complicated? Do you feel comfortable? Are you able to understand? Because I am trying to be as simple as possible. Please, somebody respond. Are you able to understand or not? Somebody, are you there? Are you present there? Somebody, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay. Anyway, okay, anyway, thank you. So, so why human persons are ends in themselves? Okay, done. Why human persons are ends? They are not means. Two sorts of interpretations are given. One is theistic interpretation, another is atheistic interpretation. What is this theistic interpretation? Theistic interpretation is person is a person who can directly attain the ultimate goal. Theistic person says person is a person and he should be treated as an end because he can realize the ultimate reality, he can attain the ultimate goal, or he can attain the ultimate end. Okay, now this is number one. He has the possibility of attaining the ultimate goal. Okay, the ultimate end. And second thing that he says that it is only in the form of a human person, it is only in the form of a human person the ultimate goal can be attained in all dynamism. In all dynamism, it is only in the form of a human person that ultimate goal can be realized. And that's why, and the human person can only attain that ultimate goal. That's why he should not be treated as a means, he should be treated as an end. Okay. Then he says human person has certain spiritual tendencies. Human person has spiritual tendencies. Okay. That's why he tries to discover the spirit. He tries to unfurl the spirit. He tries to see the essence within. And there is a possibility, and that possibility is there only in the case of human persons. That's why he should be treated as an end and never as a means. Okay. Now he says other beings also. Say the other beings means leave aside human beings, non-human beings. They can also attain an end through a person who has an ability to attain the ultimate end. Such persons have the ability to bring an end to the non-personal beings also. To the non-personal beings also. Non-personal beings can also attain an ultimate end through through a person who is ready, who is preparing, okay, for the ultimate goal. So these being the cases, the theists say a person is an end in himself. He should not be treated as a means. Why is an end in himself? It is only in the human form. It is only as a human person one can attain the ultimate goal. It is only in the human form as a human person there are certain spiritual tendencies that help one to see the essence, the spark, the brightness, the fragrance of one's own self and become ready or touch the ultimate reality. Okay, so this is how the theists interpret. And also they say the non-personal beings also can attain the ultimate end through the persons, the human persons. Okay, like you, me, and all. Okay, so persons should be treated always as ends and never as means. Even the atheists, they have got their own interpretations. Okay, they say person is an end in himself. For the reason he says there is no higher being than human person. There is no higher species. Okay, there is no a better species than the human species. It is only in the human form that we can attain the ultimate goal. That's why we should human beings should be treated as ends and never as means. Second point, they say human beings have consciousness, a higher level of consciousness. They have, they are free, they are intelligent, they are autonomous, they can make free choices, can make decisions. So human beings should be treated as end and never as means. And the last point the theists make is it is only in the case of human beings that love can be exercised to the fullest possible sense. It is only in human beings love can be exercised in the fullest possible sense. So these are the reasons why theists and the atheists reasons are different. Why they say human beings should be treated as ends and never as means. So the beautiful points that come from an atheistic side is there is no species, there is no being higher than the human being. It is only the human being who has the capacity to realize the ultimate, if at all. Okay. Okay. And whatsoever goal that he has. Okay. And the second thing that he says, they say is human beings are charged with consciousness. They have autonomy or they have free will. They can exercise the choice. They can know what is good or bad. And they are also creative. Okay, that's why they say human beings should be treated as ends. And the last point, that very beautiful point the atheists make is it is only in the human beings that love can be seen in the fullest sense. So these are the points that they say. And the last thing, with respect to Immanuel Kant, he the idea of categorical imperative. You see, categorical Kant formulation of categorical imperative. Categorical means something which is not conditional. Categorical means something which is not conditional. Imperative means a command, a rule, a principle, or an assertion. Okay, are you getting my point? Categorical imperative means an unconditional rule. ଯାହାର କିଛି condition ନାହିଁ. It's an unconditional principle. It is an unconditional what? A command or a rule. Okay. There is another sort of imperative called as hypothetical imperative. There is another sort of command called as hypothetical imperative. Hypothetical imperative means it is also a command, but it is based on some condition. Okay. For example, if I say speak the truth, suppose, or say don't speak a lie, speak the truth or don't speak a lie is a categorical imperative, is a command. It's a categorical, it's an unconditional command. It's a unconditional command. So categorical means unconditional. Imperative means a command, a rule, a principle, or a assertion. Okay. So categorical imperative is an unconditional rule or principle or assertion, whatever you take. But when I say hypothetical imperative, means it is a conditional command. It is based on some condition. Suppose I say, don't steal, don't steal, or say, don't speak a lie, or speak the truth. They are all categorical imperatives. They are not based on any condition. But if I say, don't speak the truth, suppose, or say they speak the truth, okay, only when it is befitting to the context. Speak the truth or speak the lie if I have added a condition, if the situation demands so. Speak a lie if the situation demands so. So I'm talking of speaking a lie, okay, based on a situation. Or say, don't speak the truth if the situation demands so. So here it is a conditional imperative. So speaking truth or speaking a lie, it is based on some condition. I have to speak a truth on certain condition. I've got to speak a lie on a certain condition. When a condition is attached, then the command is called as hypothetical command. Let me make this simpler, still simpler. Suppose I say Ram will pass the examination. Rama will pass the examination. It is a sort of a categorical sort. I'm not taking it as a command, something which is categorical. When a conditional and unconditional bujhe I'm just trying to say this. When I say it will rain today, it is a categorical sort of thing. It will rain today. But if I say it will rain today if the clouds appear in the sky, if I say it will rain today if the clouds appear in the sky, then it is no more categorical. It has become conditional. It will rain if the clouds appear. So it's a conditional. It is hypothetical. Where there is condition, the command becomes, a proposition becomes hypothetical. But where I say speak the truth, it is just a command and it is based on no condition, then it is a categorical imperative. But if a rule is attached with a condition, then it becomes hypothetical imperative. Okay, getting my point? Now, so this is categorical imperative. So categorical, what are categorical imperatives? They are the commands that we exercise, okay, for a holistic living, for a mutual wellness, for a moral sense. Okay, that's how we use. And so categorical imperatives are the unconditional commands or principles or rules, okay, that we apply in different conditions. And Kant speaks of three maxims or rules. Kant speaks of three conditions, of three maxims or rules, or we, or say three formulations relating to this categorical imperative. What are they? Three formulations. One is act on such a principle, act on such a principle that can be framed into a universal law. First principle is you try to act on a principle, on a rule which can be saved out, which can be saved out as a universal rule. If you are acting on some principle which cannot be universalized, then that cannot be a principle of morality. If you are talking of a principle of morality, a categorical imperative, a command, a principle or a rule, then the way you are acting on a certain rule or a principle, that principle should be capable of being applied universally. So are you getting my point? Suppose when Newton saw the apple falling down, that was the case that he saw. But he said, wherever in the world it may be, if an object is held in space, it will fall down. So it is universally applied. So that is the case with morality also. So if you are trying to come up with a maxim or a rule, see whether that rule can be applied universally. So this is the first principle. Whatever principle that you are adopting, see that the principle is applied, could be applied universally. Act on that principle that can be saved out as a universal law. This is the first postulate or first formulation Kant speaks of. The second formulation he says, he act in a manner to treat humanity, either in your own self, human beings, either in your own self or in others, always as ends. We have already talked down. Treat human beings always as ends and never as means. केबे भी तांको means रूपरे व्यवहार करनी. Always use human beings. Sorry. Always treat human beings as ends and never treat them as means only. केवल means रूपरे human beings को व persons को neon. You have to treat human beings as ends in themselves. They are the treat human beings as ends. Okay, and not as means. You should not treat human beings as means only. Okay, this is the second principle. And the third formulation or the principle that Kant comes across is act as a member of the kingdom of ends. Act as a member of the kingdom of ends. That means you are a human person. There are other human persons. You have an intrinsic value. The others also have intrinsic value. The amount of value that you carry, similar value others also carry. So you should treat human persons equally. Nobody is high or nobody is low. Treat humanity or human beings equally. So treat. So the third principle says act as a member of kingdom of ends. Act as a member of kingdom of ends. That means all the persons have an intrinsic value, equal or equitable intrinsic value, and hence the persons should be treated equally. You should not make discrimination. Okay, you should treat human beings equally because all have the same intrinsic value. Okay, so this is all about Kant. Finally, we come across in 5 minutes. Let me sum up because we don't have much time. Last section, that is what is called as persons and societies. Okay, let me. So Kant's position, I think you got it. Kant is just saying treat human beings as ends and not as means only. Sometimes you may take human beings as means, but you should be thankful. You should be grateful. You should, whenever human beings are taken as means, okay, you should not curtail, you should not take away their freedom, their autonomy. You should not be unjust to them. Okay, because human beings are always ends. And then he talks of categorical imperative, which are the commands or rules, and it frames three maxims or rules or formulations, which I have already discussed with you. And I tried to explain. I have explained. So, first rule says go with the principle that can be universalized. If it cannot be universalized, you cannot go with that principle. Number one. Number two, it says treat human beings always as ends and never as means only. And third, act as a member of kingdom of ends means treat human beings equally as your brothers, as your sisters, as fellow human beings. Never make discrimination. Treat, that is the moral sense, having equal treatment for all. Okay. Now, the last section is all about persons and societies. You see, we group things. We, when suppose we get certain things to the family, we keep certain things at a certain place, certain things at a different place. We group. Similarly, people also group together. Okay, people also group together. You see, within the society, there are groups. Certain people having a similar mindset, they come together. People having different mindset, they have another circle. So, like the way things can be grouped, persons are also grouped into classes. Okay, societies. But the difference is when you talk of things they don't have any choice. They don't have any autonomy. But when you talk of persons, we are free to choose which group to adhere to. There are groups, we are free to make decision as to where we want to be there. Okay, in this group or that group or any other group or no group. So that is possible with persons. So persons, they live in groups, they like to live in groups, hence we have societies. Because persons want to live in groups, we have societies where there is a pattern where people, all people come together, live together, having a certain pattern, and that comes, and there comes the existence of what is called as a society, where like-minded. We, and most of the times we have societies where, well, there may be differences. Well, there may be differences, but there is some thread that put people together in a society. Okay, two sorts of people are there. Okay, two sorts of people live together in groups. In the first sort, in the first group, we can link people having a limited goal. Okay, in the first group, we may think of people having a limited goal. And in the second, we have people, we have people with a goal that is going to do good for the society, for the state or the nation in which they live. It is going to benefit each other. It is going to liberate the psyche of the human persons in the society. So you have two groups of people, one with a limited goal, a finite goal, and the other having a goal. Just a minute, some technical issue. 1 second. Yes. So two classes of people. In one class, we have people with finite goal or limited goal. Say, for example, we have groups for playing football or for playing cricket. We have a group for organizing, say, Durga Puja or for organizing some festival. So that is a limited group. It's a limited goal. It's a group with a limited goal. We have football clubs or cricket clubs or hockey clubs. They are also groups, but they have a limited goal. But there are societies, there are people where there is an attempt, where there is an attempt of a greater goal, where we try to improve upon the other. Say, we try for the development of the other, we try for each other's benefit, okay, and we try to progress. So that is a perfect society. So the group with a limited goal is an imperfect society, and the group with trying to trying for progress, trying for development is a perfect society. So this is how we can discriminate between a perfect society and a imperfect society. In a perfect society, the group is limited scope, limited goal, but in a perfect society, their goal is very higher and it tries for the betterment of all concerned. Now, in relation to society, well, I think we don't have much time, but still, let me complete as early as quick as possible. So, as a person and society, two things. Try to be careful. Try to listen a bit carefully. Two things. One is person, and many people have left also because 2 hours is very a long time. Okay. Two things. One is person, another is society. I said you, person is an end in himself. Whom to sacrifice? Person or society? If the person is meant for the society, person as an end is lost. So if the person is sacrificed for the society, so person as an individual, person as a person as an end is lost for the society. Why a person who is an end should sacrifice for the society? But the society needs the service of persons. So there arises a question, to what extent a person should come out in the interest of the society? And what is that extent to which a person must be committed to the society so that the society grows and the person as a person doesn't lose himself as an end. So there is a talk of a balance between person as an end and person as a member in the society who is committed to the society. A person is an end, that's why a person cannot be totally sacrificed for the sake of the society. Even though there is a betterment of the society, we cannot sacrifice a person for the society. Well, you may say, why are then soldiers appointed? Okay, at the borders, so that the society stays. So such questions are to be addressed. What are the protections that are available to a person as an end in himself? Okay, to this, we can take a small example to end up. Okay, so there is a balance between a person as an end in himself who cannot be sacrificed, but for the society to sustain, sacrifices are also needed. But there the question comes up, is the person taken as an end in himself? Take the case of soldiers. They are ready to sacrifice their lives so that the state runs or we are safe. The people in the state or the country or nation are safe. So this is a moral question that arises. Okay, but but in answer, a society cannot deny the individual freedom or the autonomy of a person. And again, I said you, person can be used as a may be used as a means sometimes in the greater interest, sometimes, not always. So here also one criticism comes. Suppose the example that is suggested here. Suppose there are older people. Why suppose? In the society there are older people, the people who have retired, the people who are feeble, the people who are not able to work, who are not productive, okay, who are not contributing to the economy. Now, suppose there goes, if somebody says, why not kill those persons so that we have enough food left for those who are able to work? So, this is a great moral question. We cannot kill anybody. We cannot kill anybody because those people who have survived, they are the guides. They can share our experiences. They guide us every time. Okay. They motivate us so that we carry on the activities in a better way. They are the people with lot of experiences. They have lot of training. I mean, the practical exposure in the life situations. And we can take lot of things from them. So this is how we need to see. And not that if somebody says, because they're unproductive, we need to kill them so that lot of abundance of resources are available to the people who are working. So then think of the people who are working today. Why for? What for they will work? Because once they turn feeble, they know their fate, they are going to be killed. So what sort of society we are thinking of? So that is the problem. So treat human beings as an end, respect their dignity, respect their autonomy, respect their freedom, and also respect human beings irrespective of their age. Okay, irrespective of their age. So, well, the time is also out, and my lecture is nearly out. Okay, so it is over. Thank you so much. So, persons are persons who are end in themselves, who must be treated as ends and never as means. If at all you are taking as means, sometimes, okay, but persons cannot be taken as means only because persons are ends in themselves. Okay, so we need to treat persons as ends. Okay, so that's all for this evening. Well, thank you so much. We should meet you tomorrow, but inform your friends to be more in number because the last unit is more scientific and it requires a bit of more understanding. And because I make a sincere request, this unit had certain technicalities and more number of people would have joined, that would have been better. Anyway, thank you so much. We shall meet tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Let us end up here. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. Thank you. Ashok, 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 Koti Ashok. Ke Nandi, Toli ke Nandi. Ah,